Joining me now from Warsaw, Poland, is Anna Opko. She is the chairwoman of Ukraine's Democracy in Action Conference, a former member of parliament, and a leader of the Maidan protests in 2013. Prior to heading to Poland to meet with Secretary Blinken and a U.S. congressional delegation, she was in Ukraine for the start of the Russian invasion. She said she was told that she was on a Russian kill list. Anna, we've talked to you a lot. It is good to see you safe and in Poland right now. You met with this delegation. What are you asking for?
So we ask them to act immediately, because at stake is not just American leadership, at stake the lives of Ukrainian kids. And of course, today, during the Women's Solidarity Day, more than 70 women of Ukraine, mothers, members of parliament, they made an appeal to President of the United States. This is the letter asking him actually to protect us, to demonstrate leadership in standing up to Putin's expansionism, because it's not about Ukraine. It's also about Europe and also about the whole world. We have to stop this new tyranny, this new Hitler and Stalin together. And actually, what is really important to see the no-fly zones. This is what we discussed with State Secretary Blinken, congressional delegation, embargo, which is crucially important to impose embargo and to stop buying commodities like gas, oil from Russia. I'm now in Warsaw, just meeting German Bundestag members of parliament, asking them why you are helping now for Russian oligarchs to avoid SWIFT and other sanctions. And dirty money from Russia are still going through different banks of Germany. And also we asked yesterday with the meeting with Belgian Minister of Foreign Affairs about more sanctions and deportation of Putin's children, which are enjoying the luxury of Western civilization. Also, Abramovich, one of the oligarchs who has factories in the US, in UK, and we don't understand why Ukrainians' kids are dying and people like Kadyrov's gangsters are killing civilians. And the world is discussing, do we need to have a no-fly zone? Does morality end at the NATO border?
There is discussion about a limited no-fly zone. Did you, when you were talking to Secretary Blinken, and tell me if you're going to meet with anybody else, any other foreign leaders, have they mentioned to you or said anything about some limited steps that they can take?
So we need now to see how the West is providing maximum military assistance to Ukraine. Our territorial defense, our armed forces, one of the most heroic, with the bravery and courage. So actually what we demand, like to protect javelins, anti-missiles, air defense systems, and also green corridors, which is like Freedom Bridge, to cover Western Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians are coming to Poland. And I'm here in Warsaw advocating for national interest of Ukraine and Polish people. Do you know what they ask me? Hanna, if Putin starts rocket and nuclear attacks on Warsaw, we are now thinking to move to Spain. But I'm telling them, please, yes, Putin is insane, but he's very pragmatic. He will never push the button, because even from technologically, it's hard to execute. So actually, please don't be afraid. And this is also what we are asking the US leadership. It's like in Bible, don't be afraid. Please demonstrate your leadership. Become like Reagan, like Senator McCain. Stop this enemy and not to allow one day to come to you.
Let me get some news in here. We just got a statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Poland. Poland says that after consultations between the president and the government there, they are ready to deploy immediately and free of charge all of their MiG-29 jets. That's all of their Soviet-era fighter jets to Ramstein Air Base, which is in Germany, and give them to the American government to use them at will, presumably to on-pass them to the Ukrainians. I know this is something that President Zelensky has been asking for. Polish government is also asking for older American jets in return. That being said, we have not gotten any confirmation or word from the American government about this on-passing. I know that there were discussions about it that are being had. Is that something that would help currently with the situation in Ukraine? I know you're asking for a no-fly zone. What we're getting from officials around the world is they're worried that if there is a no-fly zone, it will have to be policed by NATO forces or American forces, and they are worried that that would lead to a broader war throughout not just Europe, but the world. It would lead to World War III.
So, okay, why in Libya it was possible to have no-fly zone? Why Wagner group were killed in Middle East and no Russian reactions? So, and now we are discussing that, okay, javelins are good, stingers are good. This is very helpful, but we need more. And actually, we don't need statements that US is given green light. We need these javelins, these fighter jets from Poland, from Romania, from Bulgaria to be sent immediately to Ukraine. No PR, just send it to us. And there is another neutral countries like Sweden, like Finland, which already providing lethal weapons for us. So there are many ways to help Ukraine. Look, Putin's blitzkrieg failed and Ukrainians are fighting. Please help us to win. And I'm here in Warsaw trying to meet everyone from the EU nations, from NATO alliance, convincing them, join to our victory now. Please stop Putin now, because tomorrow it will not help you, because Russian war against NATO is already happening. The battlefield is Ukraine. So please, you have many means. Do not hesitate. And during my talk to State Secretary Blinken, I told him why you are blockading the fighter jets from Poland to Ukraine. Please help us, and you have other options. And even why we don't see the Sixth Fleet of the US in the Black Sea to protect NATO members like Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey. Because another Putin's provocation and attack in Odessa, in Mariupol city. Mariupol is in siege. More than 400,000 people now without water. This today, one kid died because of how this is called, like dehydration. So, look,
yeah,
I think the world must demonstrate leadership.
You know, that was one that I didn't, I just read a couple lines about that, and I had to stop reading because I was going to break down the idea that this little girl died of dehydration alone because her mom wasn't there any longer. It is horrible. I understand it's horrible. There are a lot of Americans out there who are saying they want a no-fly zone as well. But again, so far what we're hearing from officials, they don't want to start another world war. That is news, though.
Believe me, there is no explanation. Look, this is not just this one kid. You saw this picture of 500 bombs, which was in Sumy city, killed Vadim, a small boy. Actually, we cannot just watch how many Ukrainians are dying. I'm asking Biden, I'm asking Congress, please help our nation. During the last century, when Ukraine suffered during the Holodomor genocide, the US recognized the Soviet Union, actually when we were killed by hunger. And now I'm asking everybody to help Ukrainian kids. Look, we are winning, and Ukrainian victory matters for Moldova, for Georgia, for the free world. I don't understand why we have to convince everybody that this is about humanity.
Hannah, I'm sorry. It's awful. It's just terrible. Hannah Opko in Poland, thank you for joining us. At the very least, we're happy that you are safe right now.